Hello everyone. In today's lecture we are going to see an intermediate microeconomics topic, utility function. So in today's lecture the first topic of today is Cobb-Douglas utility function or well-behaved utility function. Our second topic is perfectly complement or Leontief utility function. And the third topic is perfect substitute or linear utility function. And our fourth topic is quasi-linear utility function. So let's head into our first topic, that is Cobb-Douglas utility function or well-behaved preferences. Though both the term have same utility function, but there is a slightly difference between Cobb-Douglas utility function and well-behaved preferences. Is that the well-behaved preferences can also result in a straight line, not necessarily convex to the origin. Okay, it can be a convex to the origin, it can be a straight line as well. Okay, but in Cobb-Douglas utility function, the slope will always result in convex to the origin. It will never be a straight line. So remember this point. So let's start our first topic, that is well-behaved preferences, and we have taken a utility function x1 x2 as the function will be x1 into x2, and we have assumed this value as 100, and we have taken a hypothetical graph over here. So let's derive the value of x2. So x1 x2, as we have assumed 100, so the value of x2 will be 100 divided by x1, and the formula of slope, as we know, that d2 by d1. So what will be the slope over here? Minus 100 by x2. So if we need to find the slope, value of slope at this very point, so how we will calculate this? Simply we'll put the value of x2. So what will be the value of simply we will put the value of x1, that is 5. So 100 divided by 5, that is minus 4. Okay, so here the value will be minus 4. So here you need to remember something, that is if we get a result of slope that is declining, so if we get a result here 4, at this point we will get a result, say, minus 10. Okay, if we calculate a slope we will get a minus 10. So what we are seeing here is that the value are declining. Okay, so that's the reason why it is convex to the origin. Okay, so remember this point. And the second point you need to remember, if the slope remains same, say if we get a slope over here minus 4, at this point also we get a slope here, what, minus 4, at this point also a minus 4, so the slope will not remain convex to the origin. The slope will turn into a straight line, the IC will turn into a straight line, not a convex to the origin. Okay, and as we see the value is negative, so it's showing a decline. Okay, and if we get a value in a positive way like 4, 3 or 2, it will not remain a convex to the origin. The result will come into a concave to the origin. The result will the IC will turn to be a concave to the origin. So always remember this point, it's very important. Okay, now give me a answer to a question, that why indifference curve is negatively sloped. So I know most of you must be answering due to the diminishing MRS, but it is not due to the diminishing MRS. Okay, the diminishing marginal rate of substitution is because of convexity. Okay, if the question would ask what is the reason of IC being convex, then you will answer it is due to the diminishing MRS. And if the question asks why the indifference curve is negatively sloped, the answer will be due to the assumption of monotonicity. Okay, and the assumption of monotonicity states that the mu is greater than 0. That means that result will always be in a positive term. Okay, so what does the monotonicity implies? It implies that the total utility will increase when the consumer consume more that good. What does the meaning of that good is? That good implies that x good, either x good or y good. Okay, so monotonicity simply means that more is better and mu is positive, that is, it is an economic good. Now let's see a question over here. Let's consider a utility function, that is u and x. U is equal to the function of x and y, and we have taken a function that is 4x squared plus 6 y, and we have to examine whether the assumption of more is better is satisfied for each good. So what we will do, we will first write the equation over here, utility function 4x squared plus 6x. As we have to find the utility function should be positive, so we will derive first the marginal utility of x, that is du by dx, and the value, if we will differentiate this term, the value will result in 8x. So as we know that 8 is greater than 0, so marginal utility is greater than 0, so the assumption of more is better is satisfied. We will do the same with marginal utility of y, du by dx. We will differentiate this equation and the result will be 6. So 6 is greater than 0, so therefore marginal utility is greater than 0 and the assumption of more is better is satisfied. If suppose we get the value in negative, then like -2 or something, okay, then you would say that the more is better assumption is not satisfied. So you can do the question likewise with the help of your textbook. Okay, now we will see Cobb-Douglas utility function. So the utility function of Cobb-Douglas is u is equal to x to the power alpha into y to the power beta, where we assume alpha and beta as a constant term. Okay, always remember this, alpha and beta are a constant term, and x is greater than 0 and y is greater than 0. Okay, now let's see marginal rate of substitution in Cobb-Douglas utility function, that is del y by del b. Okay, and the slope is represented as a negative slope, as we have discussed earlier also, and the elasticity would result in percentage change in y by x divided by percentage change in MRN, and the result will be 1. And here are some example. In the examination, the utility function could be represented in the following ways: u is equal to x to the power 0.5 into y to the power 0.5, u is equal to x into y, u is equal to x squared into y, u is equal to x to the power 1 by 3 into y to the power 1 by 3. So always remember it will be in the form of multiplication, that is x into y के form में ये it will be given. Okay, so let's see our next utility function, that is perfectly complement or a Leontief utility function. Always remember both are the same thing. Okay, in the examination if you are asked Leontief utility function or a perfectly complement utility function, it would always represent in the form of min. Okay, the utility function would be written as min, or if you would have given a utility function called min, it would be a perfectly complement or a Leontief utility function. So the utility function could be represented as u is equal to min alpha x comma beta y, and it is also called a minimum utility function. Okay, so in a perfectly complement utility function, always remember one thing, that they are not only together but also in a fixed proportion. Okay, like they are not only together but also in a fixed proportion, that is the proportion would always be in a 1:1 form. Okay, now let's consider an example of shoes. Okay, so if we have taken a hypothetical diagram here, and we are representing on the y-axis we are taking right shoes, on the x-axis we are taking left shoes. Okay, so let's see an example. Here the utility function is u is equal to L by R. So min of L by R is equal to, if we take 1:1, matlab one left shoe and one right shoe, the utility function would derive at 1. Okay, if we take one left shoes and two right shoes over here, the utility function would still remain 1. Okay, and if we take 3 right shoes and one left shoes, then also the utility function would remain same, and it will be something horizontal like this. Okay, in the same case, if left shoes increases and right shoes remain 1, the utility function will still be at this function no matter how much right shoes you increase. Okay, so in the perfectly complement good, what we see that the IC is in L shape. Okay, the IC is in L shape. Okay, so the left shoe is equal to the right shoe. If you calculate 1:1 is equal to L by R. Okay, so what will be the marginal rate of substitution in perfect complement? So it varies from 0 to infinity. As we can see, it can be either 0 or it could be infinity. It moves either horizontal or it moves either vertical. So it is, MRS is not defined. Okay, so here are some examples. It could be the utility function could be represented in the following ways, like u is equal to min x by y, x comma y, u is equal to min 2y comma y, u is equal to min 1 by 2 x comma 1 by 4 y, u is equal to min 2x comma 4 y. Now let's see a question over here. So in the question it is given, in a two commodity world where x1 and x2 specify a utility function. So we have to specify what a utility function where x1 and x2 are perfectly complement. What is x1 and x2 are perfectly complement, and 1 unit of x1 is always used for a 4 unit of x2. So firstly we have to write a utility function. So how we will write a utility function? So utility function could be written as u x1 x2 is equal to min 4x comma x2. So as we know that we have a perfectly complement good, so how we will get the point of IC? So x1 divided by x2, 1 by 4. So as we know, x2 on this y-axis we represent x2, and on the x-axis we represent x1. Okay, so 4 and 1, so somewhere here we get a point of intersection between 4 and 1. So it is a utility will be fulfilled at this very point. So IC will form in this form. Okay, so we have derived the diagram of this utility function. So the question can also ask, here we are asking only to specify the utility function. The question can also ask to calculate the marginal rate of substitution. So how will you do that? You will simply calculate marginal utility of x and marginal utility of y by differentiating method, and then you will just divide both of them to calculate MRS. Okay, so our next topic is perfect substitute or linear utility function. So both are the same thing. Okay, and always remember, when there is a case of perfect substitute or linear utility function, the MRS is constant. MRS is always constant. But in the case of a substitution, not in a perfect substitution, but in the case of a substitution, if MRS is not constant, MRS is not constant in the case of substitution. The reason why, because the rate of substitution differs. Like if we say here on, as we have discussed in the well behaved also, like on this very slope we got -4, and on this point we got -10 in our last lecture. So yeah, so we seeing that the utility is declining, that's why it's concave to the origin. But here in the perfect substitution the MRS is constant. That's the reason why it will form a straight line. Okay, so always remember that the rate of substitution is not constant in normal substitution, but in the linear or a perfect substitution the rate of MRS is always constant. So MRS is same. What is the MRS is same? At each point the value of slope will be the same. Okay, and the slope will be the same, and it will form a straight line. So now look into the utility function of perfect substitute. So the utility function would be u is equal to a alpha x plus beta y, where alpha and beta are constant term. Okay, now see a general equation here where we have taken u x1 and x2 is equal to alpha x1 plus beta x2. So if we will differentiate with respect to x, so what will be the marginal utility of x? Du by dx is equal to alpha, and marginal utility of x2 is equal to du by x2 is equal to beta. So what is the value of MRS? The value of MRS is alpha by beta. So how we will derive the slope? The slope will be a straight line. And here remember, always remember, the value of slope is negative. Here we will denote alpha by beta with a symbol of negative. Now what is the elasticity of the perfect substitution? The elasticity could be calculated by percentage change in y by x divided by percentage change in MRS. So the value tends to be infinity. Here the elasticity value tends to be what? Infinity. Okay. So let's see a question. So here we have given a utility function x1 and x2, that is 3x1 and 4x2. So what we have to calculate here? We have to calculate MRS, marginal rate of substitution of x and y. So let's see how we'll do that in order to get a slope of what we have to get a slope of IC. Okay, so how we will do? First step is that we will differentiate it with respect to x and y. So what is the value of MUX? It's 3. And what is the value of MUX2? It's 4. Okay, we'll simply differentiate this term. Okay, so what is MRS? MUX1 by MUX2, that is 3 by 4. And we got the slope of IC, vertical by horizontal. Vertical पे 3 होगा and on horizontal we'll get the value 4. So yeah, we are drawing a hypothetical diagram here and we are putting this value as 3 and 4, and this is the point we got, and from here we'll draw a straight line. So yeah, this is our IC. Okay, so this means that the 3 unit of good x2 is as good as 4 unit of x1. Okay, and MUX3, if you consume MUX is 3, then we will consume 4 unit of MU2. Okay, and what is the value of total utility? That is 12. Now let's see another question here. In this question we have two commodity world, x1 and x2. We have to specify a utility function where x1 and x2 are perfect substitute and 1 unit of x1 is equivalent to 3 unit of x2. Okay, we have to derive a utility function. Okay, so we have given a value. So what we will do? We will write u x1 and x2 as there is two good x1 and x2. So what will be the value? 3x1 plus x2 as it is 1 unit. Okay, so what we will do? We will just first differentiate it. Our first step is to differentiate. So MUX1 is equal to du by x2, that is the value will be 3, and MUX2 will be du by dx2, the value will be 1. Okay, so what will be the slope here? 3 and 1. Here 3 and 1. Okay, this will be the slope. Okay, so marginal rate of substitution will be what? MUX by MUY. Okay, so what will be the value? Marginal rate of MUX is equal to 3 by 1. So the value will be 3. So what does it mean? It means that 1 unit of good 2 is equivalent to 3 unit of good 1. Okay, so let's see some of the example. The question can come in the following utility function in your exam. So let's see the utility function. U is equal to x plus y, u is equal to 2x plus y, u is equal to 2x plus 3y, and u is equal to 1 by 2x plus 3y. Or you can do this, solve this as a homework too. It's the same, the process will be the same. Our fourth utility function is Cauchy linear utility function. Over here the name itself suggests that quasi-linear, which means half. So yeah, in this utility function we see that it's half linear and half non-linear. One function is linear and other is non-linear. So let's see its utility function. So yeah, its utility function says that u is equals to vx plus y, and or u is equal to fx plus y. Yeah, in some books the value of f can it can be written as v w or other thing. So yeah, the alphabet can change here, but the thing will remain same. Okay, so here vx is a non-linear function whereas y is a linear function, and always remember that non-linear has the power is not equals to 1. Okay, but the linear have the power is always equals to 1. And also remember that x is a consumption bundle which is always more than 0. X consumption bundle will be more than 0. That means it will always be in a positive term. Okay, so quasi-linear utility function has two property. So let's see these property. First one is that f dash x is greater than 0. That means it is an increasing function which is more than 0. And the second is f double dash is less than 0. That means f double dash is a convex function because its negative. Okay, so the result have a negative result, and it will have in the first property a positive result. Okay, let's see these two property with the help of an example. We take a utility function x and y where under root x plus y. So here x under root x is a non-linear function where power is not equals to 1. So fx is equal to under root x. So if we differentiate this, we'll get the value 1 by 2 root x, which is greater than 0, and here we have a positive value, so we can say that it is an increasing function. And now see our second property, f double dash x is equal to, so we will differentiate this term again and we'll get 1 by 4. Okay, we will take out the value minus 1 by 4 and we'll get x is equal to 3 root 2. Okay, so here we got a negative sign, which is a convex function. That means that it has a negative function and the value is negative. Okay, and always remember that x is a necessary good. Okay, x is always a necessary good. Y is another good. So x is a necessary good and y is other good. So let's see the MRS. So what is the formula of MRS? MUX by MUY. So we will differentiate MUX, we will get du by dx. The value will be 1 by 2 root 2. Okay, and MUY value will be du by dy, that is 1. Therefore MRS will be MUX by MUY, and the value results in 1 by 2 root x. Okay, so here are some important conditions that we must remember. The first point is that it's very important to remember. The first thing is that MRS is the function of only one good, that is non-linear good. Okay, MR is the function of only one good, that is also which is non-linear good. Okay, the second point is that if we increase x, then MRS will decrease. So there is a negative relation between x and MRS, and the reason is that due to its convexity. Okay, and the third reason is that if we increase or decrease y, then it will not affect MRS. This means that MRS is only the function of x. That's why we said that x is a necessary condition and y is another good. Okay, so there will be no effect on MRS if y increases or decreases, and why is this? Because this is because of it is not a function of y. The reason behind it is that it's not a function of y. MRS is not a function of y. MRS is the function of x. Okay, and therefore IC is a vertical translate and parallel to each other, and IC is a vertically translate and it's parallel to each other. That means that the difference between the IC will remain same. Okay, that means that the IC will move in a parallel manner. Okay, so here we see what is the MRS, v dash x divided by 1, which result into v dash 1. Now let's see how we get this value. So yeah, we have taken our utility function u vx plus y, where vx is a non-linear function and y is a linear function. So what we will do, we will first differentiate mux, and what we will get du by dx v dash x, and then we will differentiate muy. What we will get du by dx, the value will result in 1. Therefore the MRS results in v dash x by 1, that's result in v dash x. So MRS will be v dash x. Okay, now here are some of the examples of quasi-linear equation. Let's see. U is equal to 2x I and y. U is equal to 0.5x in plus 0.5 y, and u is equal to I and x plus y. Okay. If you find my video helpful and productive, then please like my video and do subscribe my channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you.